about the solar eclipse in Pisces and the new moon ushering in the new era and the new brand of you. Hello everybody, happy to see you, and I hope it's not too strange of a recording because there's lots of things going on outside, and there's gusts of wind and neighbors and things like that, so let's hope that this does not turn out badly. Hello, and let's talk about you. So this moon, or the solar eclipse, this energy that is going to be on the 26th of February, is not the angelic energy that we probably would expect from a fresh new start. And it's not really the type of energy where we expect things to come from, because this is the womb phase and the first seeding, or the first beginning of you, the beautiful new you that is going to come through in 2017 and show yourself as the brand new idea or understanding of who you are and who you are supposed to be. And of course, it is void in Pisces, but not just any void. It's a supreme solar shadow void. So what I mean is, from the depths of you, you are going to start to build. So if you can imagine a womb ready to behave as a place of birth for a child, ready to become or behave as a ground for a new beginning, that is what we're looking at. We're going in to the feminine and to the direct shadow, or the direct voyage through the darkness of ourselves, that will be able to seed the light, which comes in April, absolutely, but also with Aries, the energy of Aries that bursts through as a new shoot, or rather the new fresh energy that will benefit you in the future. But for now, we're sort of preparing the ground. We are shuffling or sifting through the soil in which the seed will germinate, and in which you will be born, and to which you will be that light. So we're basically looking at the womb space, at the hollow energy, at the darkness, and the shadow that will burst out, the biggest light that you are, that will follow. So what do I mean by this metaphor is that this is the dark time. This is a dark time, but the darker the better, and also the stranger or the shallower the best. So when we're looking at this energy, we do not really confront ourselves with probably the right idea of who we've come to be, but certain kind of pieces coming through. There are certain little pieces in this abyss of void, or in this emptiness, that are generating themselves as false or true. You will perhaps be coming to see extensively during this time what you do and do not want, and what you do and do not have to thrive. So perhaps, as you can imagine, a farmer sensing the soil, looking at the different chemical balances inside the soil, and understands what it can birth and what it can't. What is the kind of fruit that would be the ripest or the best to plant, and what it can't. So we're just basically assessing ourselves in terms of what we do and do not want, and that which we do and do not have, in order to make what we do and do want. Do and do want what we do want. So how to plant ourselves in the next future, how to create the next new phenomena of ourselves, and how to justify the new beginning as truth, but in the same sense also false. It's like you're burying the seed, or getting prepared to bury it, and you are sort of in a state of unsure, you're uncertain whether it's going to thrive or not, but you're also like not maybe managing to see exactly what the seed will bring. It is just an idea that you're planting, an idea of yourself, maybe an ideal, or like a long gone mission that you will eventually see thrive, because each year, each cycle, each worship cycle of the moon brings definite results. It's just up to you what you do and do not want. So have a look at yourself and see what you do not like. We are in a very interesting shadow week, the first week of Pisces, and we're in the time where we do not know. We do not know, and we cannot tell, but all we can do is listen to the gut, listen to the insides, and show ourselves what we do and do not resonate with, what does and does not make us thrive and breathe better. This is not an easy time to thrive because Jupiter's in retrograde, and we've got Neptune going to shadow this week. We've also got Venus, Pluto, and Saturn in shadow at the moment. So it's not an easy time to just go up and do it. But it is a very, very nice and maybe superficial time to be almost like a kid, somebody who just responds to the yes or no answer, somebody who's just able to be a total yes or no person, somebody who can see exactly what you do and do not like and make it as black and white as you can, because during this time, sometimes with the seed, you're planting other things that you perhaps do not really wish for, or you do not wonder about in a global sense, in your whole life sense. You might actually be interested in a few different things, different people, and different projects during this time, but make sure that you're planting the right seed and whatever comes with it. So for example, if you are somebody who is a worshipper of the arts, you know, and then for example you also think, oh yeah, you know, but I might actually help my sister teach her children drawing, you know, as well, and I may help my mother, you know, she needs a few paintings around the house, I might make her a few paintings. That time is gone. So Aquarius is gone. When we are evolving for another, for gifts of the gab, you know, gifts of art, for just doing things for people to, you know, show up and just be there as a gift in itself in Aquarian time. But we are out of Aquarius, so you have to be very, very proper and very, very strategic, and also very polite and telling people no. So when you are here, it's a very, very good chance for you guys to be in a, I guess, shadow, in a shadow that perhaps is still, or perhaps is looking for something new. It's not too bad of an idea to skepticize over what people can get you. It's actually not too bad of an idea to look at your money zone and to go, okay, so I've been spending a lot on my friends and I receive nothing back. It's actually a good shadow time to do that. It's not too good to dwell, but it is good to remember and reform through remembering. Like I've spent 3 years studying art and doing a lot of drawing. Did that bring me anything? It has not. Have I tried? Yes, I have. You know, I've entered my art into competitions. I've been in touch with lots of people. I've been in touch and I've tried, and what I got out of it was not very much. So you have to be honest, and you have to be very, very superbly minded in terms of what brings you grief and what will not. So what you want is, you want to make a life that is easy, or at least thrivable, or perhaps even simple, in order to give yourself the best next year. And how to do it is this. Okay, so you look at all your cards. You put all your cards out on the table, and for many of us this might need to be a physical thing. We can use different objects, we can use little cue cards. Just write down or symbolize to yourself what it is that you want, and what it is that you got, and what it is that you can have, and where it is that you're going, and what you can do. So basically balance it all out and see, and perhaps as you have everything in front of you on the table, you might actually be very, very sure. All of a sudden it's like, say I've been wanting to become a ballet instructor, you know, because I got a few years behind me doing ballet choreography and things, but then I seem to have chosen a different path accidentally. Say I'm doing way too much things for people. Suddenly I am minding people that are doing completely different things, and my friends don't believe in me. So basically have a look at what you're becoming over time. And this is despite all the different conflicts, because Piscean energy likes to dwell in conflicts and personal matters. So like, despite all the conflicts, all the contradiction within yourself, how I feel about myself, the abstract things have to go. Why? That's because they're really good if you're going to learn something new. For example, if you're going to go into a course and you want to discover yourself through art, and you're doing like lots of art based on self-discovery, and you're making something tangible or something discoverable for another person through that. But if you're laying in bed and, you know, say you've got different things on a stove, you know, you got like, say, your career on the back burner, you got your family in the front, and you are sitting there, or you're going within, and this is a really, really, really vocal time for the mind to keep on chattering to you, and the unconscious realms coming through. Oh my gosh, like, my mother never loved me. And you can spend a whole day or whole week having a look at the past, which then makes you wake up in the middle of March, you know, when we are heading towards Aries, and you understand, hey, hang on, I've done not very much, and now I don't know what my plan is. So basically it's a very nice time to surround yourself with the kind of people that you want, with the kind of, maybe even like, for some ladies, clothes and makeup and things that you are enjoying, physical ways of presenting yourself that you associate with. For the men, it would be very nice to surround yourself with people, or at least YouTube presenters, or any type of figures of stature that have achieved or are achieving what you want. It's a really good time to give things a go. It's a very interesting time to think anything is possible. And it's a really, really, really wondrous time to give back. But you have to make it so it's profitable for you in return. We've got Jupiter in retrograde. Yes, it's a good time to give, especially if you don't usually. But it has to be part of the scheme. For example, if you are doing a YouTube thing, and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to give back, like I'm going to suddenly do a lot of laundry for my parents, and I'm going to, keep on giving back, like maybe I'll try and, garden or something. Don't make it inconstructive to your big thing. So give back constructively and build on what you already are and what you already have in mind for your future. And other things in mind, I feel that childhood is a really, really big thing during this time, as I've touched on in the previous video that I've done this month about working with your baby photos and working with your timeline as if there is no time, there is no space and time. So basically you can merge yourself with different parts of yourself through these old patterns and make yourself bigger, better and brighter than before using these particular cues. Cues of your old ways, cues of your childhood, cues of how you used to smile and laugh and what you used to wear and how you used to present as a child and what you used to love about yourself. Everything like that has to be back, or at least nurtured enough to make the new you bigger. And we can go into the child self potentially to germinate the bigger seed, because that is you as your original blueprint kind of guaranteed you to be. But you can also look at different areas of your life, but I would probably recommend, or very stand by yourself now. Stand by yourself now. So for example, if you've done 3 or 4 different businesses and you, for example, failed or you didn't progress through them, and now you're doing business number 5 you're doing business number 5 and you're kind of like not sure, I would not recommend you say going back to business number 3 or 4 and going, maybe I should resume that. So basically brush away any old ideas that you're not going to take through with you, but make sure that you're at peace, or you're in a supreme sort of feeling towards everything. Now what else can happen during this time is we've done some wrong. We've done some wrong in the last 2 or 3 weeks, because Aquarius usually takes us in a bit of a jest with life. And we can be tested without knowing that we are. And perhaps you've been, as I've been a lot, actually notice that you're not actually as nurturing as you used to be. Maybe you might see that you are not as giving as you thought you were. Maybe you might see that you made a promise and it was a false promise and you had to go back on the word. I've done that twice this week. So have a look at what you've done and what you've given this last week of Aquarius. As Pisces ushers in like a certain type of energetic betrayal, there's this sort of like interesting frequency that might run through you, kind of a bit scary, knowing that you can actually just let go of somebody and not give a shit. That you can, for example, leave somebody alone and not think of that person again and again. Like there are certain types of personality traits that are developing during this time, because we are in rest and we are going forward in a very different way. There are certain types of energies, and because of Jupiter, and because of Mars, and because of different things, there's certain types of energies that you now understand in yourself that weren't real, and then there's space for more. Like, for example, if you're always identified as a person that'll always be there, and always be the one on time, but then suddenly, like this past week of Aquarius, or like leading up to the last week of Aquarius, you've actually felt this need to just say, no, I'm not going to go anymore, I'm not going, I don't care. So when you can see that this is a different part of you coming through, it's not okay to be glitching up saying, no, but I'll be there again, I'll be there, I will be, so don't cover up what you've already got. Basically, when you understand that there's a part of you that, for example, is not faithful, that there is a part of you that is not truthful, there is a part of you that wants to hide what you've got, or there is a part of you that wants to know more about yourself in a way of money and benefiting yourself directly instead of helping other people. Or you've seen perhaps in the last while that you've got a lot of shadow in the bedroom. Like, say you've had a lot of sexuality that you felt was saintly or tantric, and then you understood that in your bedroom activities you're actually very dark and needy all of a sudden. Or, for example, that the person that you've levitated towards and wanted for such a long time becomes the small when you understand that they've got needs. You know, they got a human body that does human body things, and suddenly they're not the goddess or the god that you imagine them to be. Suddenly they're this small to you, and that is something that you have to see. You have to see it, and you have to believe it and become it. So basically, this is your shadow showing you the different colors of itself. You know, there could be a part of you that is not wrong, but does not like to be wrong. You know, like, say there is like a part of you that maybe deserves respect all the time. You know, there is like a part of you that gets really, really stroppy with people your age and looks up to people that are older only, or only wants to hang out with a younger crowd. There could be different types of emotional upturning with people. There could be a time and space when you want to develop somebody and then you give up on them, or you sort of coincidentally are very condescending and very frivolous financially, just to show that you're bigger and better than them. There's different types of ways that shadow can play, and it has been playing the last 2 weeks. So have a look at how and why, and don't justify it and don't nurture it. Just basically look at it, maybe write it down, maybe not, you know, but just like show yourself, you know, show yourself. What is your shadow? What is the true meaning behind what you do? What is that? Like, especially if you are somebody who's a healer or a prophet, you know, somebody who is meek and kind and like, it's all from the heart, you guys, this is all I want to do, especially in the new age, especially in the, I guess, silly season of activity leading up to the equinox. We are really, really discovering or rediscovering where the roots are. And for many of you, it might not be right. You know, you might be like, say, balancing yourself and your ego all the time, but you don't actually know you're doing it. You know, as I've been sort of like looking at myself to do a lot of humanitarian work, and then suddenly I'm sort of deciding maybe all I need is a nice cozy place where I can do what I do. You know, it's like an interesting thing. It's like, what are your parameters and what's the true nature of your ego? And beyond ego, what is the shadow that gave birth to your light? And this is to do with mother things as well, as we are looking at the moon, but also towards the father. What was the shadow that they birthed you out of? So, I mean, I'm going to talk about this very, very simply, though it is like a topic of itself, why you were born. Why you were born, okay? So, for Libra like myself, I mean, if you think about it really, really, really literally, I mean, Libra is a scale, so there was no balance between the people in my family. They had no balance, and they had no real idea of what was right, what was wrong. So I've come into balance, okay? There is a similar situation, say, within Aries, you know, say, for example, you've come and you burst through this family because there was no real focus. There was no real focus, and you had no idea what you wanted to do either as a soul when you came in, but then you were forced into focus when you came in as an Aries, and so on and so forth. Maybe I'll do a little series on it, I'm not quite sure. But the main purpose of your birth is already darkness. It is already shadow, because you've come out of shadow, out of the womb space, out of darkness, in order to be light and in order to bring something new, something different. So what is that shadow? Have a look at your chart, have a look at your 12th house. You know, the Piscean house, the house of new beginnings, coming out of trauma, depression, dissatisfaction, the psyche, you know, the thoughts, the combined emotions of your parents, the depth, the turmoil, the past life experiences, the trauma that you can't shake through space and time. What is that? What have you got in your 12th house? If you've got like a sun or a moon in your 12th house, you've got a lot of business to do here. But if you've got like something simple, like I've got a Plutonian 12th house, which is actually not that easy, but if you've got like something simple in there, like Chiron, you know, have a look at the different energies and the different things that you were born in to this world with, and how you've come to be. Out of shadow came you, out of darkness, out of depth came the light. It's also to do with the creation stories around the world, about how a world was created, as we are entering womb space now. And what it is to you, really depends on how far you want to reach. Yeah, I mean, for a lot of people, this could be just a time to meditate, to sit back and to lay down whatever you're carrying. If you can do that, that would be marvelous. That would be really, really wonderful, and it would sort of like succumb to greater changes later. Like if you are like me and you're a little bit nuts for whatever reason, and you feel that you've come to do this huge big thing, you know, or you've got this big adventure in front of you, or you feel you can't be content with just a little place of your own, you can't be content with a tiny little place in the world, you have to walk around, you've got to do things. And for some of us it is imperative that we do, because we've come out of the previous incarnation cycle into this one specifically to carry that. If you do have something like that, although you don't have to, there is maybe need to structure yourself here. Structure, because the previous shadow sign is Capricorn. Before Aquarius, there was Capricorn, and that's, you know, the sister sign to Pisces. So have a look at what it was maybe in December last year and early January that really moved you and really nurtured you. Maybe there was a big bang. Maybe you suddenly decided you wanted to be more, maybe you wanted to be less, but structure it in the ether. And this is not easy. This is not, because many people are very, very endowed in here, but not in there. And lots of people have a lot of thoughts and emotions, or what they think is emotion, about what they've come to be, where they're going to go. So what to do, what to expect here is like, you can't connect to the ethereal molding of yourself, the ethereal sculpting of yourself, if you do not have a clear brain. Like, do I do this a lot? Yes, I do. I do like to do this a lot, and it is something that I do in my dreams, but it's also something that I do when I'm just looking into space, where I'm looking at you. Every client that comes to me provides me with a certain type of ethereal bonding that I can then take forward. And yeah, people do, like, you know, come into my space and they enrich me with a new ethereal bonding that I give to myself, because I can see what else is possible and I can learn from you, and I become more with each person that I give advice to. So that's a really interesting thing. But if you are not knowing as to how to create the next ethereal blueprint for you, you can just basically look at this like this. Look at your face for a long time. On a photograph if you need to, but you know, usually photographs are not so good. They're just a small reference point. It's not good to enrich them with too much meaning. Say you're looking at yourself in the mirror, and this is going to sound really bizarre, but look at yourself for a long time. And then sometimes what happens is facial morphing. Sometimes the face becomes different people, sometimes the eyes blur, sometimes the mouth becomes a smile, sometimes it becomes terrifying. So your unconscious is looking through you as you're looking at yourself in the mirror. And if you want to do this, do it now. Do not do it on the eclipse. Okay, so don't do this on the actual 26th, because it'll be a little bit too much. I feel that building up to the eclipse is a really good time to look at the different faces, the different shadow, the different light, and just smile at it and not worry about it, because I've seen a few people like that when I was looking at them, and it's been a terrifying energy for me. It's been terrifying to see that in another person, as you can see their face morph into different things. Or if you do not see, or you don't have the attention span to keep on looking at matter until it warps, you can always just imagine, and even introduce color into your life. You know, do a bit of face painting, you know, finger painting, paint it on the screen, paint your portrait, or paint a picture of you, or something that you are represented by, like a spirit animal or any kind of energy, any kind of guide. So paint you, and paint your story maybe, or draw, or just seriously, like, take some paint into your hand and just smudge it, just see what you can do as an imprint. You don't have to be an artist or any kind of big creative. It's just something that is an imprint of you towards you. And have a look at the different sort of rituals you can do with paint, things that you can do with makeup, you know, if you're somebody who's really adventurous and outrageous with it, things that you can do with your clothes maybe for some of you, but not for many, because we've got shadow Venus, so it's not really about attracting, it's more about expressing. And anything to do with work should have an almost altered state, because work has got a huge purpose in this lifetime for us, most of us, because we've come in during a time where work is still a factor, or work, eating, you know, and sleeping and paying for your house, you know, it's still a factor here during this particular area that we've come into, all of us, most of us, you know, unless you got some really amazing blessing in your life and you're really different from us, it's fine. So that's in Virgo, and Virgo is opposite of Pisces, and this is the energy that we are in now, which basically is meant to dilute or can alleviate a lot of stress and pain. I mean, take advantage of this time. We've got Neptune and Chiron, you know, having a dance around each other at the moment, and Neptune's going to shadow very, very quickly. I mean, use this time to create a dance of life and death. I'll actually tell you when it's going into shadow. I got it written down. Neptune, okay, so it's on Thursday the 23rd. And basically this is like a really, 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 really good time at the moment to live it up, but also live it out. I mean, if you can imagine letting things spread really quickly, really far, letting your voice carry very far, letting things kind of like smudge over and smooth down. You know, if you're at work, don't concentrate so much, like don't think so hard about what you're doing. Basically make it a dance with life and see it phase out and create a different vibrational pattern by itself. What not to do? Okay, what not to do during this time is to teach somebody better. It's not a great time, especially for Scorpios during this time, to shake your finger at somebody and teach them better, and to put them in your field on purpose and to shake them into knowing what you do. So when we're doing that, basically we're disillusioning another person's life as well as our own, and for disillusioning another person we get threefold backward. So from disillusioning another person, you get punched. It's like you get pulled down 3 times as heavily as you pulled them down. So basically it's not a good time to shift anybody consciously and to tell them, look, I got this. It's not a good time to do that. What is it a good time for? It's a very good time for laughter and smiles. So you got a ancestor, relative, somebody like I do, and like they're going around in a circle and they're very uniform in what they do, and they tell other people off and they're shaking their finger at everybody. But even if that person does that, you just smile at them and walk away. You got to smile and let these people who are indeed on a destructive cycle, as they will be chosen people to be in a destructive cycle during this time, to just dance their own little dance. You know, the dance of Shiva, you know, death and destruction, the Kali. You know, it's okay. Let them dance their own dance with their knives. You know, let them slash other people to pieces as that is likely. For some individuals, it's almost like they'll be haunted by the idea that this exists, or that's the truth, or this is not right, I'm right, or like I'm never wrong. There'll be certain people that will be there and they can't dilute. There will be almost like the pointy pinnacles between us, amongst us, who are trying to soften into shadow in order to bring greater light into fruition. So basically admire that, trust it, it's okay. What we've got is very basic. I mean, this was Aquarius, and then basically Pisces goes like this in an eternal dip. It's almost like it's about to go in a circle, and then Aries just goes. Okay, so this is the energy that we're working with. But this dip of Pisces has got to be the softest, most smoldering, heartfelt, emotional maybe, practical and ethereal sense kind of a thing. Like a nonsensical thing, you know? You might develop in this next cycle of Pisces a lot of habits that you do not even want to have, but they're there. If you are keeping on saying this is right and this is wrong, the whole point of Pisces and the whole mind of the Pisces genius is that there is no right or wrong. There is just shadow and light, and between them there are so many different colors. Just let them be. And eventually, without judgment and without needing for attainment, just understanding that you're vulnerable and you don't know anything, just through knowing that you're nothing, and just through knowing that everything is everything, you begin something new, and then it will carry you. It will carry you. It's like your work will carry you forward. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. I've had a lot of time to feel this, and I'm so happy that I've been able to finally spill it out. If you'd like to know more about you and your vortex, and perhaps if you'd like to book a reading for the next year, because I'm going to do a new year in March, as by the ancient calendars, because it's the equinox and beginning of Aries. If you would like a reading for the year, you're welcome to book it through my site. If you'd like to know more about you specifically, if you've got any questions at all, I can answer pretty much anything, except for certain things. I guess I like not to answer particular questions for certain people if they're reaching kind of like above or too far for their own good, and if the answer is not going to give them any if the answer is not actually going to stimulate them into greater growth. So basically I answer pretty much everything and anything. I love to hear from you, and if you like, leave a comment below and I'll try to answer it. Thanks a lot. Bye.